I think a good way to open this little presentation is to show you why do you need to take the recovery program. It's very simple. On every piece, you would spend about 12 days for analysis, learning, and performance practice stage. That means by the end of the 12th day, you are ready to go on stage and perform your piece. Piece of a very high level. We're talking about Liszt, we're talking about Rachmaninoff, Chopin repertoire kind of level. To do that, you would need to follow this plan. As you can see, it looks more or less like a step-by-step instructions of what you do on each given day of your practice when you start a new piece. But the challenge here is that if you look up close and try to read through it, you are not going to be able to understand anything. It all sounds very confusing and so different from what you used to do when you practice a piece. Now, to be able to do that, you need to complete these 4 volumes. After completing volume 1, you will acquire the skills to analyze your piece in the first 2 days. So that page with sound imagination and hand motions that I just showed you, just to do those 2 days, you need to complete the entire volume 1. And similar is here. To be able to follow through days 2, 3, and 4, you need to finish volume 2, then volume 3. In volume 4, you're not learning any new skills, though you are taking all the skills that you have mastered in the previous 3 books, and you applying them to technique exercises, scales, arpeggios, octaves, and chords to build strength and stamina and speed, and then learn how to grow your repertoire and how to maintain your repertoire. And this is a very good like a long-term tracker of your study, because you can see that to complete volume 1 you need 1 month. This is for the second volume, 2 months for the third volume, and for the last volume you need about 1 month for technique exercises, and then another 4 months where you start growing your repertoire, learning about 2 pieces a month, and therefore complete about 35 minutes of repertoire at the end. What is good about this program is that you don't have to do it on your own. You can have group lessons every week to trace your progress, to make sure that you follow everything correctly, not making any mistakes, to ask your questions, to express your doubts, to get support. If you're following volume 1, you would be very interested to see someone who is finishing volume 4, for example. On the next page, we are zooming in a little bit more into the content of every volume. And what I wanted to show you here is how volume 2 and volume 3 are the natural extension, like branches of the tree, from the trunk and foundation that you learn in volume 1. For example, we have different areas that we start in volume 1. One is about hand motion, another one is about mental practice, sound imagination, then internal singing and posture. You can see that in volume 2, we are starting developing and going deeper into sound imagination, as well as advancing our internal singing. In volume 3, we can also see how we advancing our internal singing again, including other elements as well. What is also interesting to know is that different elements belong to different groups. Articulation, for example, is not dynamics, it's not mental practice, it's internal singing. And harmony, dynamics, and voicing, it's mental practice. It's what's going on in our mind. So that means that when we're gonna, for example, execute articulations, we can intonate accent actively while using soft dynamics. So that means when we see soft dynamics in the score, we're not gonna lose articulations because we can separate these two in our mind. And as I said in the last volume, we're just focusing on technique exercises and learning new pieces. Now we're just focusing more on what we learn within which period of time in volume 1. It will take us 1 month. These pink boxes belong to our energy work, the mindset that we're gonna start working on right in the beginning before even touching the keyboard. The purple boxes are about mental practice, and they can be done in parallel with our hand motion, because we don't need to finish hand motion to start the sound imagination. And the same applies to our internal singing department. We can again include it and do it simultaneously with all other layers. So that means that you can pass volume 1 very quickly by engaging 3 different areas: hand motion, mental practice, what's going on in our mind, and intonation, what's going on in our vocal cords when we play. The last week you can dedicate to consolidating all those new skills by practicing very simple examples of music with newly mastered skills. Volume 2 follows the same principle, and as you can see again, if harmony, dynamics and voicing belong to the mental practice, that means we don't have to finish it to start our internal singing articulation. We can do it simultaneously. Here we are, and again at the end we spend some time to consolidate our skills, so another month for volume 2. Volume 3 is the last one. We acquire new skills within 2 months. I think this is clear. These are all new elements that you're also studying, but it also includes the learning stage. So you also learn how to repeat the piece and memorize the piece in the most efficient way. And the lilac boxes again for the performance practice stage. You also learn how to prepare the piece for the stage performance. And volume 4, also separated in 2 parts. One is technique exercises. Not every single musical element that you've learned you will apply in these technique exercises, because it's simply not necessary for using it as warming up exercises and speeding up exercises to see how fast and even you can play at the end. And the next part is repertoire growth. You can see the numbers are the number of the pieces, and you can see how we can also combine the stages of learning a new piece with repertoire maintenance. And here you have it, your recovery program in a nutshell.